Yogah Karmasu Kaushalam.
Welcome back. The second thing we can do to innovate our teaching methodology is to take resort to the emerging concept known as blended learning. Let us see what is blended learning. There is no fixed definition of blended learning. It is also often called hybrid learning or mixed mode learning. It's a mix between the traditional teaching in the class and e-learning. In a blended learning course, students attend a class taught by the teacher, and at the same time, they also complete their online components of the course outside the classroom assigned by the teacher. The online part can be supplement to the traditional teaching, but it can also replace in-class time by online learning experiences. The teacher simply has to create best possible e-learning content pertaining to the topic and deliver it to the students. The students go through this content at their own leisure and create their understanding related to the topic. Next, in the class, the topic is taken to a different level of understanding by the explanation of the teacher and the peer discussion. The concept of the flipped learning has been born out of the same concept of blended classroom. Here, students learn about the topic and the theory at home from the best e-learning resources provided by the teacher. So, there is more time for the teacher to do exercises on the matter in class and help the student where needed. You could say that students actually do their homework in class. Broadly speaking, there are three concepts of blended learning. Number one, there must be in-person classroom teaching by a teacher who is conceptually conscious regarding the process. Number two is online learning material, mostly videos, often include pre-recorded lectures given by the same teacher. Number three, there must be structured independent study time guided by the material in the lectures, and skills must be developed during the classroom experience. Finally, a teacher's time and intentions are divided for the sake of the students. A blended course teacher uses the classroom time for activities that benefit the most from direct interaction. Interactions are no more boring and long lectures, but real interactions. It also keeps students motivated to come to classes. So, if this blended teaching is adopted to teach grammar, it will benefit both the students and the teachers in many ways. In language classes, the exercises and drilling practices play an important role. In the traditional way of teaching, the teachers are left with little time and students don't work at home. But in this process, when the teacher finds more time, the exercises, oral practice can be operated in detail and more effective results of learning outcomes can be obtained. Apps for blended learning. For English language teaching through grammar, there are many applications available on the wide and large resources of internet. What the teacher needs to do is to drive the students to the resources and make them go through them before coming to the class. Take a look at the video apps that can be introduced in the classroom. We can use almost every app in this list for blended learning or in flipped classroom. The major apps to teach blended courses are EdPuzzle, Explain Everything, Novio, My Simple Show, Rooklick, Book Visit, and WebQuest Visit. These apps offer interactive exercises and tests as well. By introducing all or some of them, we can make the process of language teaching more interesting and effective for sure. 3 parts of blended learning. Blended learning doesn't have a fixed definition, but there is a general agreement among the education innovators that blended learning has 3 important components. Let us first begin with the basic question: why should you use blended learning in your classroom? Basically, there are 3 core benefits of blended learning. Number 1, it increases the time and scopes for interactions in the classroom. Number 2, it gives liberty to the students to refer the content again at his own leisure until he convincingly understands the topic. Number 3, since the student turns up in the classroom with the basic understanding of the topic, it creates a better room for advanced discussion. Next in the line of innovation is the introduction of games. Yes, grammar games. Who doesn't like games? It is true, the process of learning a foreign language other than the mother tongue is quite difficult and tedious one, as one has to replace at one's conscious state the expressions altogether different from one's already existing in the cognitive level. To give a start and encourage the class to use the language, the teacher might develop several pair games, cognitive games and competitive games of his own or as prescribed in Mario Revolteri and Paul Davies' book More Grammar Games, or Games for Grammar Practice by Maria Lucia Jarob and Elizabeth Chin, and many other books of this kind. Studies show that the traditional way of teaching grammar through painstaking memorization doesn't prove effective and in a way proves discouraging to the students and motivates them to remain away from the class. And here stands the real challenge for the English language teacher to invent some more effective and fun ways to teach grammar. One of these is to teach grammar through games. These classroom games aren't just for fun. Games and fun activities for teaching grammar can have purpose if used correctly and at the right time. Let us take a look at the possibility of some wonderful outcomes we can have through a well-planned grammar game. Creating vibrancy through games. When language learner can apply grammar and use it in a fun way, there is a better chance that they will retain it all. They will be able to practice and internalize grammar phenomena extensively rather than just learning a bunch of rules superficially. When language learners are exposed to repeated target grammar through different and varied activities, they will be more motivated to work and retain the grammar as much as possible. They know that games are coming up and they need to be prepared if they want to win. The motive to stand champion of the class and to outshine others in the class will make them work harder and keep them motivated to keep prepared. Thus, as compared to the traditional instruction-based class, the games will definitely introduce enthusiasm and vibrancy in the grammar class. In the introduction of grammar games, the teacher has to be very alert and conscious in the selection of games because the game must suit to the temperament of the class and it should be contributing to the language skills of the learners. As above said, the teacher requires to be creative too. Let us look into the possibilities of being creative in grammar class. Creation. Yes, another important facet of grammar teaching is its creative part. Along with being innovative and experimental, the English language teacher needs to be creative as well. Creativity can be defined here as trying to create some content of one's own or to convert the available content into our teaching learning materials. The first among these is creating audio program. Broadcast may not be available to all, but creating small spoken notes on smartphones is extremely easy. The students do have their smartphones and can have easy access to the audio notes via social networking apps. They listen to it with fun at their own leisure and prosper in their language skills. This kind of practice will have its advantages. Number 1, it has very vast reach. Number 2, the listener enjoys the choice of time. Number 3, the listener can listen to a particular program repeatedly. And number 4, it creates a real language environment. Next is use of information and communication technology, that is ICT. To enhance the effectiveness of the grammar class, the teacher should become techno-savvy and try to bring the technology, and the students like to spend much time in the classroom to make the affair more convincing and agreeable. By bringing the ICT in the class, the same content will appear exciting to the students, and their attention in the class will be more arresting and participatory. Next is using video in the classroom. We all know the vital screen arrests much of young mind's attention. Keeping this fact in mind, a teacher can make use of video contents in the classroom for explanatory part. If possible, these videos can be shared via any medium along with the instructions to come to the class just with the close study of it. This might give the student to get familiar with the topic in advance, and when the fundamentals and basic things are clear with them, the class can be more devoted to the extensive practice and advanced level tests. Creating an environment of listening and speaking is the next step. In recent years, great emphasis has been placed in the development of oral skills in second language teaching in India. Material writers and recent textbooks have also focused on the inclusion of interesting and varied activities which require a learner to respond orally. The class, if it remains infused with the listening speaking activities and thereby the grammar principles are explained, the learner feels more confident and burden free as well. Grammar through popular songs. The teacher might select and pick up some popular songs and share them through the web links with the students through the social networking sites. The learners are given one song at one go and expected to turn up into the classroom having listened to the same song. The teacher gives the song with the motive of making the learners aware about specific grammatical structure being used in its expressions. Thus, the students will have exposure to authentic utilization of language application. Next is movies. Watching movie is a unique experience that everybody enjoys. The students are introduced to the realm of movie with a hidden agenda to make them learn language. The things are as simple as they seem. In the pre-task, some specific movies are selected. May they be the cinematic adaptations of the text or stories pertaining to the syllabus. Then, the scripts of such movies are provided to them, and again, the task of watching is prescribed. This kind of repeated exercise will allow them to have a real feel of language, its contextual significance, and clear understanding of its application too. Even the teacher may encourage the students to enact some specific scenes from the story on their own before the classroom. There are several mobile applications like Learn English with movie subtitles mobile app 99 available free on the internet resources. The students can be encouraged to download such apps and use them as their powerful learning resources that teaches as well as pleases too.